Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Random Rolls. My name is Frank, and I'll be the Dungeon Master for this episode. I'll be joined by 3 of my friends, Jade, Nathaniel, and Ryan. If you haven't seen episodes 1 and 2, you'll want to go do that. I'll put links to them in the description below. You'll want to see them because that's when we introduce the story, as well as explain what Random Rolls is, which is a experimental Dungeons & Dragons format. Normally, I like to introduce each episode with something special in it that I appreciated as a Dungeon Master. This is not only something for you to look forward to, but also something that other storytellers get to appreciate. With this episode, it was just one wild and crazy ride. I just finished editing it, and there wasn't a dull moment. It goes down as one of my favorite Dungeon Master experiences. Well, I'll stop talking about it and let you be the judge of it. If you enjoyed this episode and you've enjoyed the other ones before, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me to hear what you enjoy. So, last time on Random Rolls. The party had just been introduced to 3 new crew members. While Aapa and Tracan engaged them in friendly conversation, Kepesk took a somewhat different route. As things started to simmer down, the crew was noticing a storm, quickly amassing on the horizon directly in front of them. And before they could respond, this storm encircled them. Now, what is this storm doing? Why is it acting so aggressively? And how will the crew manage it? Well, let's find out.
This is literally like,
I don't know.
a little floating boat in the kids' bath. Like, this is just going everywhere.
And so your solution is to try and stage a mutiny in a storm, a shitstorm.
Yeah, this guy like persuaded us to jump onto a boat where this is suicidal, and I'm going to try to wrest control from this crazy lunatic so that I can assign people their proper duties.
Give me a persuasion check. No, an intimidation check with disadvantage.
All right.
While he does that, as soon as Aapa sees the meteor and realizes the very high chances of the ship just going down, she's gonna take a look around and try to find as much rope as she.
Go ahead.
Okay. Should I? Do you want me to roll for that?
No. So you're looking for rope. And
Yeah, she's looking for rope, and she's gonna try to go to every person that's in station and attach the rope to the show them to attach the rope to the waist and to someone else, so that to have a buddy system, so that if one falls overboard, then the other can immediately pull them back on, or some sort of thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Only people who are in station, for example,
right.
at the ballista or
Right.
somewhere fixed. Obviously not people running around. But creating lifelines, basically.
I see what you're saying. I'm trying to decide what kind of role that is. I guess that is also a persuasion.
Okay.
Because
sure.
you're convincing people to take an action. And Kepesk, what did you get?
I got an 18 and a 0.
That's right, because you have a -1.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so as you'd expect, no one hears you over the storm, but the people closest that can understand, visually what you're doing and kind of hear you, just look at you, and one of them says, "Would you just make yourself useful?" It's the same guy, actually, that you first tried to convince.
It's only been 8 seconds or so right there.
Just help us out.
You know what? I'm going to go try to find Tracan. I'm going to help him out.
Okay.
Because this shit's going to get messy. I'm going to be plugging holes with my snout.
All right. And, okay, so Aapa, you are going to convince people. What'd you get?
I rolled a 5.
Okay, so you get rope and you start tying it to yourself and showing, and who else what do you tie it to?
I'm definitely tied to Banshee.
Okay. Curious, what part of the Banshee? The neck, her waist?
No, her waist, obviously.
Okay, just checking.
Like right behind the like a dog harness kind of thing. Like right
yes,
behind.
Gotcha. So you tied around her, and then you show the nearest crew member, like, do this, and he just looks at you, kind of busy right now, as he's like, someone's getting water out of the ship, someone's like hatching everything down, pieces start to fall out of where they've been tucked, and so people are trying to put them back. Someone's at the helm trying to steer the ship. Actually, that would probably be Martin, who's trying to steer the ship, keep it going in a direction. And Braylick is standing there next to him, and he's got a compass out, and they're both talking together about how they're gonna, like, which way they should go. That's what it looks like, but it looks like they're shouting at each other, like they're having a fight.
Okay, you know what? Then seeing that this doesn't work, Aapa thinks, oh yeah, they're not animals, they're stupid. So she's actually gonna go against Banshee's advice, and she's gonna climb the mast all the way to I'm assuming there's a little platform at the top.
The crow's nest.
Yeah.
The crow's nest, is that what it's called? It's cute.
In English, yeah.
Okay, so she's gonna go all the way there, and she's gonna have a look around, and I'm gonna use minor illusion and cast it like right next to Martin, and it's gonna sound like Appa's voice saying, "I upstairs, I give guidance if danger.
Okay.
Give wave if understand."
And this is to who?
To Martin. It's like I'm just using the sound part of minor illusion, and it's just happening in his ear. Like I'm just
okay. He looks up. You see him look up, and he goes.
And I go. And then I start watching and seeing if we're approaching any reefs, or if I can see anything in the water or in the air that looks dangerous and approaching.
It's hard to see anything in the water, but one thing I'm going to need is a dexterity saving throw from you, as lightning streaks across just like 10 feet from the crow's nest. And as the sound just splits and creates a ringing in your ears, you also hear the beginning. You hear a short pop, big pop, 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 and an explosion just happens off to your right side, and is about to throw you off the ship, off the crow's nest. So, what'd you get for dex save?
I got a 13.
Okay. So, did you still have that rope attached to Banshee? How is it all the way up the ship of the main mast?
She can come with me. She has claws.
Oh, fair point. Okay, so Banshee climbs all the way up there with you?
Yeah, we're both in the crow's nest.
All right, give her a dex save with advantage.
Yeah, that's a 9.
I'd imagine she hates this up here, by the way. Just because the crow's nest is the part that's like.
Yeah, it's the worst. It's the worst.
So as you are about to hold on, and you are ready for something like this, Banshee's claws just like release out. I'm not at a loss of words. Her claws are unable to really keep purchase in the ship. She flies off, and then you fly off. But you fly off in different directions, so that the part where the sail hangs, you both, with your ropes, fall around that.
Oh, do we hit each other on the way down?
You just miss each other, but you're dangling there now.
Okay, well, that's fun.
And another thing, so you're dangling there for a minute, so you get to think about that predicament. Tracan, did you do anything in preparation as this storm was coming?
I told Martin we should leave. And then he said no. I'm like, this is fine. And I got very pale and walked into the basement of the ship to help make it not drown somehow.
Okay. So this is before Kepesk has joined you. And Black Salt is leading you to the supplies, and he starts to hand you some things that you're going to need, such as more planks, some additional rope, some additional, I'm not sure what it's called, but something you use to
Even though he's seen that he doesn't know what he's doing and he can't do any of this, he's still handing them stuff.
Yeah, well, he's going to load him up. He's going to load him up just for when things happen. And as that happens, you are noticing that there's the rain that's coming through the ship is when it gets into the lower, drier part of the ship, you start to hear a little sizzle, and you start to see smoke. Smoke is starting to rise from where that water is settling on the dry wood.
Well, shit.
And Black Salt looks at this and just says, "That's not good."
It's not?
Oh.
Have you seen water do that? And he bends down and he picks it up with his finger, and on his scaly hands, you can see it still starts to sizzle, and it starts to wear away his scales.
Oh God!
Not quickly, but it's starting to like sort of bubble.
Please tell me that this is the moment that I arrive.
This is the moment you arrive. But
I
first,
see.
Tracan, hold on.
Okay.
First, Tracan.
I don't know how to fix this. I don't know how to fix any of this.
All right, Kepesk.
I come in and I see the Dragonborn with the fire on his scales, and then see the fire, and I'm like instantly, he's starting a fire, and I'm like, I come in, I'm like, yes, this is excellent. We cannot wrest control of the ship from Martin, who is a dickhead, by the way, but we can burn the fucker down. This is the joke ship. Let's burn it, burn it, burn it.
Can we not burn the fucker down?
Well, it looks like the decision's been made for us by our dragon friend here.
You gonna say anything to that, Tracan?
I'm trying to figure out if I'm able to convey just how like out of it Tracan is right now. It's been like a solid like day of being like under the deck effectively, and now he's being attacked by like an elemental storm that's shooting meteors at us, and I'm expected to fix everything with wood and tar. And I play the pan flute. That's like what I do.
Although technically our cockerels are birds, and birds make nests with little twigs and branches and a combination of their very sticky saliva. So you might not know how to use the tools that are given to you, but I would say that you know how to fix holes in the wood in a different way, so you can just start throwing up on the ship.
I fill the holes in the ship with twigs and spit. I suppose the only thing I really have is mending. I have mending. So like I'm not useless. That's kind of why I'm here. But he's putting all this stuff in my arms, and I'm like, I don't know what any of this does. This is wood. I know that. And then the lizard comes from nowhere, and it's like, burn the fucker down. I'm like, wait, I'd have to fix that too. Do we have more stuff to carry? He's like 30% in the situation and 70% worrying about the situation.
I just want to say, as a dungeon master right now, this is the biggest shitstorm I've ever been in, and this is fascinating.
It's literally a shitstorm.
And yes, that's all I'm going to say. Okay. This is even worse than my players killing the final boss in chapter 2 of the 7-chapter adventure. Okay.
Oh god.
Okay, so you all have taken essentially an action here. Kepesk's action was to try and begin mutiny, just to clarify that's what his action was. Tracan, your action was to be prepared and to wrestle with the fact that you are in a shitstorm. And
My action was to worry.
And Aapa's was to get to the top of the ship and to give direction to help guide the ship. And because of that, you're still up there. You're still pretty high. I'll give you that. So you're still able up there to give direction to Martin. He sees you fall down and he goes, you just see his face, and he talks to Braylick, and Braylick sees you, and they talk to each other, and Braylick kind of gives like a meh. Okay. So the rain has started to seep through the ship, and you do see it is creating this. It's fair. I was deciding whether to make you roll for it. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, give me an investigation roll. Kepesk, you failed. You thought that they're starting a fire. I'm sorry. No, you automatically got a 1 if that's what you thought. No. Actually, I take that back. Give me a roll. Let's see if you can figure out what it is, both of you.
Okay. Can Aapa take an action to?
You will in a minute.
What am I rolling again? Sorry.
Investigation.
Okay, you're going to dice jail.
Investigation.
Dice jail. There we go.
I have a total.
Yeah, Aapa as well. You can roll as well for a different reason.
I've been rolling so shit all night. Oh my god.
I have a 7.
You got a 7 on investigation. What'd you get, Kepesk?
I rolled a 6 and I have +1.
Okay, Kepesk, what'd you get?
I got a 5.
Jesus Christ.
So I think that he's lighting a fire.
I can roll performance. I'm good at performance.
Sorry, buddy. Aapa, would you roll an investigation?
Oh, I have to roll investigation too?
As of now. Yeah, go ahead.
This one.
If you get a 6, we have the whole set.
Hold on, let me add my modifier. Nope, that's a 4.
Nice. Okay.
Can we knock mine down by 1 so we have 4, 5, 6? I'll take 4.
But I'm a little busy right now. I am hanging like a bag of fresh meats from the house.
I like to assume I have supplies stacked in my arms, like past my head, so I just can't see in front of me.
Yes. Black Salt looks at you he's like, and he looks at you and realizes you can't see anything behind all the supplies he's piled you up with. He says, and then Kepesk runs up and talks about a fire. And he's like, what? No.
We've got
acid.
Like, the most antisocial dragonborn down here.
Yes. He's he does have some anxiety around talking.
Oh god.
He points out his finger. He points to his finger and says, acid. This rain is acid.
Oh, lovely.
And
would I even have heard of would I know what acid is?
Give me a nature check.
Kepesk, can you just go below the water and just like pick up the ship and turn it around? Like, have we tried that? Have we thought of that?
That's a 10.
Yeah, you've heard of it. You've never seen it. You don't really know what it does.
Okay.
But you've heard of acid, and you know it's not a good thing necessarily.
I'm sorry that you have sustained some kind of injury on your finger.
No, the rain is acid. And he looks at the two of you who are not catching on.
I just realized I'm an idiot.
Why?
I have Unseen Servant. Unseen Servant can do mending.
So let's say that you realize this as soon as Black Salt says, the acid, it's wearing away. It's eating through the wood. And then his eyes get really concerned. It eats flesh and metal.
So does that mean that Aapa is essentially melting away in the rain? That all of the crew that are all up
everyone who's on deck is basically taking some serious damage right now.
The flesh is like sloughing off them like Raiders of the Lost Ark.
It's starting to. It's possible, yeah.
But you'll tell us when we get to that.
Yeah.
Well, we're under deck, and old mate with scale is melting away. So
it's bubbling. It's bubbling a little bit. So, Tracan, you suddenly remember, oh, I can do these amazing things.
I have magic.
Yay!
All right. So in that moment, Aapa, you're not aware of. You're not quite aware of the acid component to this mystery, but you, from up there, you hear another, and it crashes just behind the ship, just 10 feet from the ship, and the ship lifts forward. And of course, you're dangling there, just kind of rocking back and forth. And this lightning, 2 other lightning strikes hit near the ship, but their explosions, shortly after the meteor, the explosions create this force, this concussive force that damages the ship. You can hear like wood breaking on the sides, and then the ship begins to rotate, disorienting the ship. So on your turn, we'll start with you. By the way, I'll say that the crew is doing well. The crew has been doing really well so far of keeping the ship together and doing their job to keep things going. You have, Aapa, started to notice that some of them are looking at their arms and they're looking at each other, but you can't tell what. This rain is too thick. And so, Aapa, we're going to start with you. From up here, you would still be able, like I said, to help navigate the ship if you wanted to help Martin.
Banshee being much heavier than I think the whole rope situation would quickly become painful. So I'm not really particularly looking forward to that.
That's another point. Thank you for bringing this up. She's
so
much heavier, so yeah, you are being raised towards the top of the mast.
Okay. As soon as I'm close enough to the mast, I'm gonna try to hold on to it, and I'm gonna try as much as I can, like progressively, to not tug, but like try to push a little bit on the part of the rope that's linked to Banshee, to swing her as close as I can to the mast so that she can plant her claws in the mast and she can be there and I can be there, and then if that works, I'll cut the rope after that.
Okay, so before you're trying to do this before you get to the top?
No, it's like when this starts to happen, when I get close enough to the part of the mast that we're hanging on, I'm just gonna grapple on it and then try to tug on it.
Okay. I'm gonna need a strength check or an athletics check to see if you can hold on to it.
Sure.
With her weight pulling you.
That's a 12.
Okay. So you're able to hold on for a moment to do one thing. You can feel your grip slipping. You said one of the things you wanted to do was try to cut the rope.
Well, if that was going to work, but if I can feel my grip sliding and such, how high is Banshee from the deck?
She's probably 15 feet at this point. I'm not sure how long you had the rope. I'm not sure how long you were making the rope, but 15 feet probably.
Yeah, then I'm cutting the rope.
Okay. Yeah.
And Banshee ready.
She looks at you. This whole day. All right. Yeah. So you managed to cut it, and you are at the top of the. You could at this point use your movement if you'd like to climb to get to the ladder to get back up or something along those lines. Whatever you'd like.
I'm just gonna get closer to the mast while still sitting on that little part that's coming out, and I'm just gonna be like sitting with one leg on each side and kind of hugging the mast and looking ahead. I've learned my lesson that
Great.
Not.
Great. Yeah. Okay. So up there, excellent. So you're still able to give directions to Martin, as much as that'll help, which will be important. So that's good to know. Okay. Next up, Kepesk. What is it that you'd like to do? Oh, I should point out, since you are below deck, those explosions that just happened, it was pretty loud below deck, and you could feel the ship wind. I'm going to need you and Tracan to give me dexterity saves. Tracan, you can hold off, though, until we get to your turn here.
Frank, do I take any damage from the rain?
You don't have resistance to acid, do you?
No.
Okay, you take 7.
Yay. Banshee as well?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
That's a 17.
17. You save. You manage to stay on your feet, and Black Salt also manages to stay on his feet. Kind of supports himself up against the wall as this happens, and he suddenly looks towards the sound, and he sees that they were in 2 separate directions, one at the front and one at the back. And he says, he points to you and Tracan, and says, "Go repair, fix the ship." And he points to the front, and then of course, he's about to run to the back of the ship.
Yeah, just before he does, I say, like, after those 2 massive things, like, I start to maybe think this is a strange storm, and I say, hey, is there any, like, sea gods or deities or something that, like, could cause this in your knowledge?
The sea is a beast. The sea holds many dangers. This is new.
Very profound. I'm gonna, like, use my full. How far up to the deck can I get with my normal movement?
Sorry, are you trying to go a level up or just get to the front of the ship?
Get up onto the deck.
Yeah, you can get back up there. Yeah.
Okay. Movement speed of 40. So I want to get up there, and then I want to, like, it's like now, like, I'm just seeing this craziness, and, like, am I able to? Yeah. I want to, like, do, like, there were gods in the swamp that were worshipped through dance and chanting and flips and stuff. And I just, like, whoa, like, I just want to appease, like, whatever this crazy shit that's happening. And I I want to, like, do 3 backflips in a row, and then I want to do, like, a forward front flip, and I want to be, like, doing, like, a chant, like, whoa, ah, whoa, ah,
Just
and,
like that.
Yeah, just like that. And, like, I've got my bone javelin out, and I'm, like, stabbing the deck as I go, and
Cool.
like, I just want to, like, great sea of powerful beings, stop this nonsense, and I will serve you for the rest of my life.
As I want to point out, as you're stabbing the deck with your bone spear, you're familiar with hitting various substances and the integrity that those substances have. And you're noticing that this wood is plying off a little too easily. Like it has been weakened by possibly this acid. So you realize that if you kept this up, you could maybe get through the ship.
So
like in cartoons when they start drilling a hole around themselves.
Yeah, right.
am I able to do like a performance or like a persuasion check to the ocean to like?
You can definitely. I'll happily accept a performance check.
All right, let's do this. Let's fucking.
Happily.
That's like fucking.
Get a fucking natural 20, babe.
Oh my god, we need a natural 20 right now. We really do. Come on. Oh no.
Natural 1.
I don't even know how it's possible to roll this poorly. Like
Statistics.
I rolled a 6.
And I'm sorry, I can't give you advantage because this storm is all over the place. You're doing your thing. I mean, the motion of it all is throwing you off a bit. You've started to gain your sea legs, but maybe not. You don't have them yet. Tracan, you have seen that Black Salt suggested you and Kepesk go and repair the front of the ship, and Kepesk runs up to the top of deck. And Black Salt is kind of miffed, and he looks at you like, are you gonna repair?
I suppose. And I'll run to the front of the ship and start doing anything.
As you get there, you can see that it doesn't. I mean, this part of the ship is where the water splashes against on the other side, so it's not like this wood. This wood is probably it. It's a bit. You can tell, like, tenderized in a way. So when this explosion happened off the side of the ship, it did a pretty large amount of damage, and you can see water is starting to spill in. And what are you going to do with that?
Water's starting to spill in. Can I cast Mending?
Yeah, you sure can.
Well, I will.
So you just start to.
Yeah. I'm snapping with one hand, and then I just have like a brush full of tar in the other hand. I'm just like, I don't know what this does.
Great. Okay, so you start to affect. You see the wood start to, and it starts to board itself
Broad
up.
strokes.
Wax on, wax off. And that is working. That seems to be working.
Nice.
And you can see down on the other side of the ship that Black Salt is using the more traditional method of putting boards on it and hammering the boards into place, and then taking the tar and not painting the tar, but applying the tar to the wounded area. Aapa, you can see that the mass that you're on, the wood, it's thick and strong wood, but you're starting to see that it's sizzling. That sizzling's happening up here. It's now become apparent to you as you've been looking out around the ship and where you are, and you can start to, in that damage that you already had, it's starting to become more of a thing. Oh, Kepesk, you also, out in the rain, take 7 damage.
All right.
And at this, you feel that you are in the worst of the storm now, and lightning is happening more frequently off on the horizon and closer to you, and creating these bright streaks of explosive light. There's meteors that are far less frequent, but they do happen once in a while around you, and the wind is picking up, and the waves are getting bigger, to the point where they are almost reaching the height of where you are, Aapa. So the swaying up there is very intense.
Okay.
Oh, Kepesk, sorry. Sorry, not Kepesk. Tracan, give me that dexterity saving throw. That
That's right. I was supposed to be good at those. We'll see what happens. 17.
That's great. Okay, great. Everything happened as it should have. As it did. All right, Aapa. Sorry. Let's see. I need to give you something here. The last meteor that hit the water very close to the ship you can see light on the outside of the ship towards the port aft side. So back left for anyone else. And you can see that there is light coming up from the back of the ship. And you can start to see little flames, little bits of flame.
Amazing.
Okay. I am gonna use minor illusion again to tell to Martin about this. So just tell him, fire back. Martin, fire back ship, fire. And I start pointing towards what I saw.
He looks up at you and he sees you pointing and he looks on the side and he goes, oh, you see him just, what you can presume is, oh, shit. And he looks at Braylick and he starts pointing while he's got his hands on the helm. And Braylick then runs off, not runs off, but takes a couple steps away, shouts at some people, points over there, and a couple of them look over. And they go to retrieve... Gosh, what would you do about that? They look stumped. Let's see if they can come up with a solution. Some of them get like a tarp. They get a tarp, and you can see them running over to the side of the ship to apply the tarp somehow.
Most ships of any decent size have what's called a bilge pump, where they can actually pump water. It'll be seawater, and they could pump with the bilge pump.
Another crew does that. That's great. So you've got one guy that's like, a tarp's a good idea. And another guy's like, more water. Like, what?
We have technology.
Indeed. I want to try something as well. You tell me if this is pushing my action too far. I want to try to undo the top sail. But like without not attaching, how the sail is supposed to be attached at the top and at the lower level of the bar. Okay, and I want to undo the lower level and try to like bring the sail down and actually attach it to the ramp on the side of the boat, so that to use the sail to create like kind of a slanted roof, at least on part of the boat, because since I've taken damage, I can tell that this rain is hurting. So I want to try to create some sort of a sheet roof to protect at least parts of the people and myself.
I'm imagining that as she does that, like the sails just like disappear like instantly in the acid if they're disintegrating scales and stuff and wood.
Well, she's are actually pretty thick, and that depends how powerful this acid is.
So which way is the ramp facing? Or is the bottom of the ramp? Is it towards the back or the front? Or
the
typically
which way is the wind blowing?
Well, the wind is blowing from various directions, but typically I'll say that the bottom part of the sails is on the front part of the mast. So the front part of the ship, it's on that side of the mast. Okay. So you want it to drop. I'm gonna need. You're going to have to cut the ropes on the top if you want it to go down from up there. So that would be in one turn. Because you have to shimmy across. Let's say that there's 2 points up here. So if you've got the main mast, there's 2 points of this where there's rope. If that makes sense. I'm trying to make this visually.
Yeah, it does.
So you gotta cut all of those. So you could. How do you want to try to do that? Because you don't have enough movement to crawl from one side back to the other side.
I would like to try to use my whip.
Okay, great. A whip.
Like full on Indiana Jones, just.
Interesting. A whip to cut rope.
With a saw blade.
I don't know. It depends how thick is the rope, because obviously that.
Well, the acid is a factor, so
it's like an Alita Battle Angel whip. Bits of blade at the end.
A sword whip.
Yeah.
Like what what Jade was showing earlier in the chat group with those.
Oh, the Urumi. No.
Not quite like that. Let's say, yeah, go ahead and give me the attack roll 4 times.
Okay.
Let's do that. I know that's not a normal move, but
2 19s.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Oh. And then a 10 and a 14.
Ooh, okay. So you manage to, of these, you get the first 2 cracks, just and then on this one you get a 10, and on this one's the 14, we'll say, and so it's still stuck up by this one, but you can see the weight is just like straining on this, and you can hear it. Doesn't sound as much like someone shitting. It sounds more like the stress on a rope.
Oh, does it?
Sure.
Maybe it sounds the same. And just as so it falls down, and those ropes were keeping it up there, and it is attached to the other ropes where the bottom is normally attached.
Awesome.
But it's just kind of flailing in the wind right now.
Yeah.
And you didn't actually move. I'll give you a movement if you want it.
I'll come down the mast.
Okay, how?
I kind of picture, the like firefighters coming down the pole, but with the mask being this big, it's clearly fighting.
Oh, right. Okay.
Like a koala on a greasy pole, just kind of.
Nathaniel, do you have any comment for that? A koala on a greasy pole?
Is that a frequent thing that happens?
I can't say I've ever seen or heard of a koala on a greasy pole.
Either from your zoology background or just sexual innuendos? Nothing?
I mean, koalas have a great grip.
Some hooligans going out there and greasing the poles.
Just for koalas.
Just for koalas.
Now that creates a whole new kind of like defacing, public treasures, just terrorizing koalas. Like, right, we're going to go over there and grease some poles for those poor koalas.
That will be my next Greenpeace campaign. Finding the funding for this is going to be interesting.
Yeah. Stop greasing the koala poles.
It's going to be a great nonprofit.
To simplify it, stop greasing poles.
We demand immediate action. Can we ever salvage this game now?
I think the game will be salvaged when whoever finds our ship salvages it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
The ship takes additional damage because the DM planted a bad thought. Kepesk, you have been dancing. Oh, I'm sorry, Aapa. Yes, you can do that. You can koala the pole.
Koala the pole.
Very good. Oh boy, that'll be our image from now on. That's just a koala sliding down a greasy pole.
I have to write it down to draw now.
All right, Kepesk. What is it you want to do? Your chanting, your performance seems to have had little effect on this storm. If anything, the storm has gotten worse.
I feel like I've put my best in. I put my best foot forward. I've fucking performed the shit out of this. And this is all I get, acid's burning me. And I just get pissed at mine because
Oh boy.
I get so fucking pissed at mine. I just turn around and I just point at him. I'm like, you.
So you're at the front of the ship and he's at the back of the ship and he is busy dealing with this fire. So he does not notice you.
in my mind, I'm starting to think maybe if I kill the captain, maybe the storm will go away.
A sacrifice to the gods.
This is the weirdest subplot.
This is the weirdest thing. But knowing Nathaniel, this kind of makes sense. This is some of Nathaniel's problem-solving skills at work here. Come on, buddy. This is role-playing. You're supposed to separate the character and player.
Oh,
Maybe if I
to living with you, babe.
maybe if I kill him, the weather will stop.
Well, all of his bad decisions as a captain's led us to this.
Oh.
Oh,
You know, in his defense, we haven't tried it. That is not Tracan.
Well, he has beat the captain around a bit, and then the storm started.
It's just
I
the job.
I'm gonna like. How fast is the ship moving right now?
It's really hard to tell in this storm, and you don't really have a point of reference in the sea. But
Okay.
I'll give it, given that you are comfortable in the water and you're familiar with swimming, you could tell that the ship is moving not as fast as it could. Although with the sail down now, there is a considerable gust that knocks you off to the side a little bit.
It's not attached, so technically, if there is a gust, the sail is not going to carry the ship. It's just going to go like this.
Right, not a lot, yeah. So it is, yeah. You still feel a bit of a gust, and then you hear the loud as the sail rapidly reaches the extent of itself.
Oh, thank God. I thought something broke.
No, not yet.
If I'm like racking my brain, I want to rack my brain and be like, could this storm have been brought on by this fuckhead of a captain? And like, if I kill him, will it if I sacrifice him, like,
I'm hesitant to give you an investigation roll because of how shittily you roll lately, because who knows what you'll come up with. But go
wouldn't it
ahead.
be more religion?
Give him a religion roll.
Wouldn't it be more religion?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, maybe I missed a word. How is it religion?
Because I'm like trying to think whether like this horrible captaincy could have angered the gods to the extent that the storm happened.
Oh, okay, you're talking about angering gods. I think it's investigation because you're trying to answer a question. Do you see what I'm getting at? I understand you want religion.
No, I'm just thinking genuinely.
Nathaniel, he just doesn't want you to kill his NPC.
No, if he rolls shit, he probably will end up thinking, whatever. Let's just roll for investigation.
Okay, investigation. That doesn't make, it's to do with the gods though, for fuck's sake.
But you're trying to answer a question.
Okay,
Here,
okay.
how about let's do do religion first. I have an idea.
Okay, so religion is a 15.
Okay, great. Now do investigation.
Investigation is a 7.
Jesus Christ. So your understanding of the gods is strong and true. And you deduce that it is wholly possible that his actions have angered the gods. But you're a little bit uncertain of your own answer to your question of, did our shit captain anger the gods? You're not wholly certain, but you think that with your solid understanding of religion, that it's possible.
Okay, well, I guess that's my action, right? So
no, I'll say that this is a very informal way of turns right now, so I'll say that that's not your action. You can do something physical if you like.
Okay, I'm gonna bring out my dragon bone javelin that my friend gave me in the swamp. I'm gonna kiss it. I'm gonna be like, "This is for you, gods. Please end this nonsense. This is crazy." And I just kiss it, and I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna move as far as I can. I'm not sure if I can get into melee with him, but if not, I'll just Can I get into melee with him?
Jesus, how long? If you're up there by the forecastle, 1, 2.
So just so I know what's going on, are you gonna stab Martin?
You will have to wait and see.
Okay.
You from where you are, you can get to like 10 feet from the stairs that go up to where he is.
So I will stop 30 feet away from him.
Okay.
And I'm going to hurl my javelin at him with all of my strength in my body.
I'm gonna say you have disadvantage on this attack because of the storm and the projectile weapon you're using.
Done. Oh, shit balls.
It's a great sign.
That's a 13.
13. He sees it coming and nimbly just sidesteps it. And it flies past into the sail behind him. And it just sticks out. If you could hear that through the storm.
Probably not.
And he looks at you just like he's in shock at this point. Like, you actually tried to kill him this time.
And I just raise my finger and I say, "You have angered the gods."
Braylick also sees this happen and looks at you. He looks back at Martin, and you see him like put out a fist, and he's like, while he talks to Martin, and Martin just shakes his head. And they trade a couple words, but that's it. All right, so we'll say that's your action. All right, Tracan.
All right. So is the front of the ship good now?
You have successfully repaired your end. Yes.
All right, and the sails are down.
You actually probably heard that. You probably heard the loud crack.
Let's see. So I'm a bird.
Yes, you are.
From the elemental plane of air.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel as though I might have some decent knowledge regarding wind patterns and shit like that.
Absolutely.
Can I maybe use my knowledge of forceful air, also known as wind, to kind of help direct the sails in the best position to get the fuck out? Because I don't want to be here.
Yeah, you totally could. How do you want to make that happen?
All of us are failing so badly at what we want to do.
How do I want to make that happen?
I will point out, Nathaniel, that Aapa has done a great job at what she's intended to do.
I'm trying my best.
Actually, yeah, and Tracan has mended shit.
I have mended shit. Look at the front of the ship. Look at it. It's magic and covered in tar. Is there like currently like a small crew of people like manning the sails or anything right now? I know they just dropped, so I doubt it. But
a few of them are looking up in confusion and getting ready to try and fix this problem, and then realizing that, oh shit, the rope was cut. We'll have to think about this. So they're stunned and surprised and trying to figure out a solution.
Can the sails not be angled right now because of the rope being cut?
They are not angled, correct.
I will go over there and I'll try and grab a handful of people on my way over, and I'll be like, put those sails facing that away, and I'll point with my bird arm.
Okay.
In the correct direction so as to best leave.
I'm going to ask for, you can choose what you want, but I need you to try and figure out which way the wind's going. Given that this is a storm and the wind's going every which way, you normally could do this on a clear day, but given the storm and the chaos of it all, just give me a straight check of anything you want that is applicable, not performance.
I'm gonna roll a d20 and then I'll try and finagle my way out of it from there. I rolled an 8. Let's see. How do I make this work?
Nature, survival, investigation.
Perception?
Yes.
14.
Ooh, that's great. Yes, yeah, you can figure it out. You figure out which direction the wind's going, and you're able to point the crew and to point the sails and such.
Look at me.
That was good. That was good. And Aapa up. Oh no, you came down, Aapa. I guess you'd probably feel the difference. The thing is, they're angling the mainsail that's flapping in the wind. This is a better motion. The other ones, the other ones are still up. They're still rolled up. So this is having a minor impact. That's the end of that round. At that point, the wind, you can feel the wind is starting to die down.
Oh.
And you can feel the rain is starting to die down.
Oh no.
And the crew has been doing really well keeping things together. People have taken some damage. Oh, you all take 1 damage.
Oh no.
It's merciful of the rain. However, as everything seems to be dying down.
So really quick, really suddenly, all of a sudden.
Very rapid. This whole storm has been rapid. The way it's come on and the intensity and then how it's leaving has been very rapid. And just as everything seems to be dying down, the clouds above you start to dissipate. But then there's this one loud and it strikes the ship directly on the top. It's lightning. And it strikes right into the upper deck. And a bunch of, you see the top of the ship after this acid rain has already been weakening everything, and it just blasts a hole through this upper deck. And you see singe marks down to the bottom. It's actually, it's funny, I didn't connect this until now, but it's the same spot where Kepesk is standing. It's right near there. So, Kepesk, I need a dexterity save from you.
I just have a question. When you say the wind is dying down, does it feel and look like we're coming out of the storm, or more like we're in the eye of the storm, like in the eye of the cyclone?
Good question. No, you're not in the eye of the storm. It's not like you're leaving the storm. It's almost like the storm is leaving you.
You know what? I'll take it. That sounds like a win.
15.
It was a toxic relationship anyway.
Yeah, actually though.
Kepesk, you just save. You manage to, as you hear it and your instinct, your reflexes kick in and you jump to the side towards the center of the ship. And you manage to avoid the brunt of it, but you're still going to take... Can you just tell me how much HP you have right now?
No, I want you to, as the DM, to decide, and I'm going to take it, whatever it is.
Okay.
7.
I want you to know I rolled really well. You should be proud of me.
Right.
As I finish calculating, 33 points of lightning damage. Oh, halved because you saved. So 16.
Right.
Oh, I forgot for a second that you saved. I was like, whoa. So yeah, as this happens and you leap out of the way, this crater, not a crater, but this hole is created in the ship deck.
Fuck.
It's a bit larger than Mending can do on its own. And below, you can see several other things. What was immediately below are also destroyed. Various supplies and part of the... the galley is the deck below that. So part of the supplies. And now, as things are starting to die down, Aapa, you are also at the base of the main sail, but on the other side from where this happened, in my head, what I imagine. So go ahead and whatever you'd like to do at this point, if there's anything you'd like to do.
Well, my whole plan is pretty pointless now that we've been hit and that Tracan is using the sails. So, did that lightning that just happened start a fire on deck as well, or did it just create a hole and that's it?
Just created a hole. The ship's pretty wet, because not all of it was acid. Some of it was actual water.
Okay.
Plus the sea spray.
Okay. Do we have any lifeboats?
Yeah, there's one.
Right.
It's attached to the back of the ship, if that gives any.
Yeah, no. This is hell. This is fucking hell. I guess Aapa is probably just gonna ask Martin if there is any medical kit. What do you call it again? Healing kits anywhere on the ship?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he says.
They have
He says, "You need to find Derek. He's the one that would help with that."
Okay.
And this is the first time you've heard the name Derek.
Mm-hmm. I jump on Banshee's back and go down, just randomly screaming in all directions, "Derek, Derek!"
And do you go below deck?
Well, if nobody turns their head on deck, then yeah.
Someone on deck sees you on Banshee and says, "Derek would be below deck."
Okay.
In the infirmary.
Great.
And I don't know if you would know where that is, but you would know about the room that has a bunch of jars, and there's a spot with herbs that you would know of. It's in a corner of the ship.
Yeah, then I'll run all the way down.
Okay, so you go down there and you see someone with what looks like actually you wouldn't really know what a butcher's apron is, but it looks like a butcher's apron. And
only front dress. That's weird. Okay.
Yeah, that's all he's wearing. That's all he's got. He's stark naked.
Aapa is 10 years old. Don't you dare do that to him.
Okay, fair point. Someone is in here on the table that looks really badly burnt, and their skin is also very red. And this person is trying to apply certain herbs to the burn. He's quietly working in here. Did you want to say anything?
I'm probably say, "Hi, upstairs, people hurt, I help," and I just, not even waiting for his response or anything, I just started opening all of the cupboards and trying to get as many medical supplies as I can.
Mm-hmm. He says, no, take the kit over there. And he points, by the way, this is an elf. And he points off to a satchel that's to the side, and you open it, and it's got a bunch of herbs in it, things that look familiar to you.
Familiar with. Okay, then I take the kit and
you head off. Excellent.
Were there a lot of her people?
Well, since every one of us who was on deck took 8 damage total, I'm gonna assume that we're not the only ones. So.
Yeah. Okay, and then Kepesk, was there anything you wanted to do after you got struck by lightning?
I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so fed up with the gong show of the ship, and I just got smashed by lightning. The mutiny failed, and I'm just I think I'm just lying there, just why? Why?
So you just kind of flop onto your back, just asking the gods in the sky why.
Yeah, I kind of imagine that even though I saved, I still kind of got flung, but just not as bad as I would have. And I'm just on my back, and I'm just yeah.
On that note, Tracan, is there anything you'd like to do?
Yes, there's many things I'd like to do. Let's see. So there's a huge fucking hole. Do we have any extra sails or tarps or anything?
You have noticed large canvases in the ship when you are down there moving things around?
I'm gonna grab one of the large canvases. And is it big enough to cover up the hole?
It's very large. You can suppose that it is typically used as an extra sail, so it's very large.
I'm gonna throw it over the hole.
Okay, the hole is 10 feet by 10 feet.
Okay.
Just throwing this out there as well. One of those canvases for a sail, the size of this ship would weigh a shit ton.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Thank you. So you're going to really struggle to move it on your own. So you go below deck and you start to try to lift it. Give me a strength check.
If it's, would I know it's that super heavy? Like if I had to move it yet?
Yeah, you could. I would say that you could deduce.
I'm gonna commission like half a dozen people who are stronger than me to come lift it for me.
You can try some persuasion, general persuasion. Yeah.
19.
Wow. Yeah.
Nice.
You get a bunch of people to help you, including Black Salt. He rushes over to help you with it.
Bring me the piece of thing. bring me the extra sail.
Okay. Yeah, they all work together and they follow your instruction to place it where?
Put it on that hole.
They all kind of look to each other. Okay, all right. He must have an idea.
Now it's not filling up with water. All right.
Yeah. Well, the water's, everything is dying down. And so at the end of that, the storm seems to be gone. And the ship, you can smell, it's still sizzling. You all look around at each other, and a bunch of people have very red skin. Some of them have very bad burns. And this is the point where Aapa is already going around with Banshee, and they're nursing and tending to people. The ship itself has its fair bit of damage. The ropes to the mainsail are going to need to be restrung. The hull that's burning on the back is being put out, so that'll need to be finished and then repaired. The whole ship itself is likely going to sustain continuous damage throughout this day from all that acid. And the ship is going to need to be taken care of. In addition, the relationship between Kepesk and Martin is going to need to be tended to, because one of them just tried to kill the other. So we'll deal with that next time, folks.
I'm going to bed.
Okay. All right. That is something we'll pick up in the next session. Thanks, guys. That was a lot of fun and very silly. I very much enjoyed it.
That was the wildest session of D&D I have ever had. Like, that storm was some crazy shit right there.
And you can thank Nathaniel for that role.
That ship is in shambles. I loved being a part of that story with them. The chaos of it all, which was led in a very unconventional way, still led to some amazing moments. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Just having to navigate through everything without really knowing how to do it on the spot was risky, but I felt like it led to some amazing moments. What did you think? Have you tried something just as risky before and found that it led to an amazing experience for you and your friends? Go ahead. Tell us in the comments below. I'd be very curious to hear what you did that ended up being so rewarding. Also, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video, and hit that bell for notifications. When the next video is up, I'll be sure to put it right here. Well, I look forward to getting to share the next episode with you, and until then, I hope you have an excellent day and an amazing week. Take care.